Whoa. This episode of Scum's Wish was probably one of the realest depictions I've seen of how some couples are in real life. I'm not saying all couples, but some. And this series, holy shit. So, I've heard things about this series. I've heard this series triggers people. This series can really piss people off. And I think I know why, but at the same time, I have to disagree. I think many are going to get mad with this series because of the way it handles the relationship. You see, when we watch romance series, typically, we usually see happy-go-lucky couple. You know, two characters getting together, they're bonding together, and you just see how they love each other. And when they do these things and they're all embarrassed, it's just to show how much they care. For instance, holding hands, kissing, whatever. And majority of the time, it takes an entire anime season, probably 12 episodes, just to get to the point where maybe the characters might even kiss. But Kuzu no Honkai, Scum's Wish, the English title, they don't give a fuck about that. They don't give a fuck. The writer gives no fucks about that. The writer's like, you know what? Let's make this straight up how some couples are in real life. Let's show how scummy some people can be. How much of a scumbag you are. And I love the depiction of the series. How it depicts that. It really shows some darkness of how humanity is. And how sometimes we handle relationships. And I can see why this series would trigger a lot of people and piss them off, because it's a series that's not like your typical romance. It's not trying to be happy-go-lucky. It's not trying to be, you know, always smiles and stuff. It's showing you a darker side to the genre. And so, Scum's Wish. You know, I gotta say, you may trigger me, you may piss me off with some of the ways you probably handle relationships in the future, but I will give you this. I will give you credit where you deserve it. I respect the fact that the way it is handling these couples, especially how the characters are not in love with each other and some might be falling in love with each other, and how also love is illogical. It is something I brought up in my ReZero reviews, and I will bring it up here once again. You cannot help when you love someone. If you love a certain person, you cannot change who you love like that. Not at a drop of a dime. You can't change that. If you love a person, you love a person. So if someone walks into your life, that doesn't just change your opinion and say, oh, I don't love this person anymore. That doesn't fucking happen. That does not fucking happen. The only time that happens is if your love was fickle and you didn't really love them in the first place. That is what that means. And when I see these scenes of how the characters are realizing like they're not in love, but then they're wanting to fall in love, but then they're not accepting the emotions of others that love them, I appreciate this realistic approach to romance, because that's how it's done. Let's put this in perspective, okay? Let's put this in a very, very good perspective. Many of you might not agree with me what I have to say here, but let's put this in perspective, though. Let's just say this is a regular, you know, couple, like in real life, okay? You have it to where these two people are together, and all that, and you have it to, it seems like they're a couple, or they're very close friends, okay? Maybe they're not an official couple yet, okay? They're not an official couple, but you know they've been friends for a very long time, this girl and guy, or boy and boy, or girl and girl, who, whatever type of couple you want, and they've known each other for a very long time. They've, you know, grown up together, whatever, they spent time with each other, they constantly hang out, and they've developed these feelings for each other, or maybe one of them has developed feelings for each other. Like, let's say the guy or something develops feelings for the girl, and then all of a sudden this, you know, girl pops out of nowhere that maybe this guy met in college, and she falls in love with this dude for whatever reason. She falls in love with the dude. But the dude, he realizes that this girl loves him. Like, she has these advances on him. She's trying to seduce him. But he's like, I just can't. No. And he wants to go after the person he loves. Even though she might be a better person deep down, even though she might be a better option, you cannot change who you love. That's just in the discussion right then and there. And after seeing what we saw from the sensei, the female teacher, and how she is hanging around guys, sleeping with them, staying with them, obviously having sex and do whatever she wants, the main male character, Mugi, he denies all this. He's living in, I guess, a false image. He doesn't want to see the truth. And regardless of how she is and how bad of a person she might be, he still loves her. And once again, this goes back to how love really is. Love is illogical. You can love the shittiest person, but you still love them. It's how it is. You just cannot change who you love. And in this case, that's exactly what's going on here. How the main male character, Mugi, loves the sensei, even though she's a very shitty person. And also how our main female character, Hanabi, how she is wanting to fall in love with Mugi. She's trying really hard, but she still has feelings for her sensei. Once again, that goes back to how romance is. But on top of that, though, if you start to feel feelings for others, that means you might not have had true 100% devotion to that person. And I love how this series does not try to sugarcoat these depictions of couples and romance. I am so happy this series does not do that. And I feel like that's why many probably get mad with this series, because you're going to have many characters probably introduced. I could see it right now. I can already see it right now. You're going to have many characters introduced, and they're going to fall in love with our main male character, main female character, and we're going to be like, holy shit, they're a better option. Like, go with them, go with fucking them, go with them. But they don't, because they love who they love. And that's in the discussion. GG right then and there. And I like that. It's gonna piss me off, I know, but I like how the series is trying to tackle that, showing that there's a reason why sometimes just characters can't change who they love. It's just not like that. It's not that fickle. So, Now, anyways, this series caught me by surprise with some of the things it did with this episode, especially with the sexual acts I saw take place, and the way it handled them. It acted about, like, the way the series acted towards these scenes was very casual, and honestly surprised me with how it handled it, because if you saw something like this, you'd be like, holy fuck, like, the series would really focus on it. Like, the series would put 100% focus on something like this. Even borderline hentai shows put so much focus on something like that, but it honestly did not. It really quickly covered over these sexual acts instantly and just went on to the next scene, which shows you what they're trying to imply here. Sometimes people have sex just to have sex. They don't give a shit about, you know, feelings or whatever. Some people could just have sex just to have it, and that's all they want, and they don't want anything else. And that's what you see from the teacher in this episode, and that's what you see going on with Mugi and how he had a past relationship. And so with this episode, you see the main female character and the main male character, they have a sexual act to where she gives him a fucking hand job, and oh my god, I mean, the way it didn't focus on that, it just briefly covered some of the things, like it stated like, oh, you know, apparently he must have fucking just jizzed all over her fucking shirt because she had to get it washed. I'm like, so yeah, I mean, this series is a very, very mature series, like, I just can't believe it. Yeah, I mean, I should have expected it from the way the first episode is done. It just still is something I'm not used to. I've read a lot of manga. I've read a lot of romance. Romance is one of my favorite genres of manga and anime. However, I have not read a lot of josei or seinen romance. I've read a few, but not a hell of a lot. And so just seeing stuff like this really just throws me for a loop, especially when I see something like this, especially with the way the characters are kind of like acting like this, and the way the main male characters like touch it. He acts like he's freaking hard, and then he's like touch it, and then she does. I'm like, is this fucking happening? Like, what the fuck? And then at the end of the episode of how it states what she was doing, how she smells like cigarettes and she's wearing the exact same clothing, I'm like, oh my god, this series is really doing something like that. So, Scum's Wish. I know why now probably many might not like this series because of the way it handles some of its themes, but I personally find it very fascinating, and I honestly want to see where it's going to go. I want to see how the romance pans out. I want to see exactly how Hana, you know, turns out, or who she turns out with. Like, is she going to eventually get to be with her, like, sensei, the person she looks up to, or is she going to choose Mugi, or is it going to be someone else, or are they going to all end up fucking alone? I have no idea, but it's a fascinating series, because you want to know how far down in the dirt they're gonna go, how bad and how terrible people they are before all of this is said and done. And I feel like that's like the thing that makes me want to continue, just to see how far they will go and how evil or scummy they can be as a person until enough is enough. So yeah, once I'm done with this, and once I get this uploaded, I think I'm going to go read the manga. This series definitely surpassed all expectations. Now, I know not everybody is going to like this series, not everybody's going to think it's a good series, and not a lot of people are probably going to think, that they should enjoy it as much as I have. Fine. However, I enjoyed this episode, I thought it was interesting, and I do like the very mature and dark contrast to the romance genre compared to everything else I have seen in recent seasons of anime and also years. So, gonna definitely continue watching. Oh, yes. And then I want to go read the manga. Oh, fuck yeah. So I heard there's like 40-something chapters. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be reading the fuck out of this tonight. So, you all have a very good day today. And be honest with me, how do you feel about the series? How do you feel about the way it handles some of the romance? Especially with how we had that Yuri couple at the beginning of the episode. How do you feel about that? I mean, how do you feel about how it handles these themes? How it doesn't try to focus too much on the sexual scenes, and it tries to get to the main point. Like, the main point of what the series is about. How do you feel about that? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below, and you have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.